Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Ali. Welcome back to my world of stocks. In today's video, I actually want to introduce a new series to the channel. You guys will have to tell me if you like it. If it gets a lot of likes or positive feedback, then I'll definitely do more of these in the future. But basically, I thought it'd be fun to do a bear versus bull type of video where I cover 5 quick kind of rapid fire points about a stock from the perspective of a bear. And then I try to either counter them or present new points from the perspective of a bull. Now, for this first episode, I chose Tesla since that is really one of the most divisive stocks out there these days. And because I actually own the stock myself, I'm going to try to counter the 5 negative points from the bear attack, which will be as follows. Number 1, the valuation. Number 2, the business. Number 3, the macroeconomy. Number 4, rising competition. And number 5, Elon Musk. Now, I know some of this may sound a little confusing, but hopefully the structure will make more sense as we work our way through the video. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We'll start with the bear arguments first, and then I'll try to counter them as a bull. Then I'll finish up with my overall kind of personal conclusion and opinion on all of this. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into it, starting as the bear first, Tesla bear. Let's go through this list. At number 1, we have, of course, the valuation, which should be pretty easy to argue as the bear since Tesla is one of the most expensive automakers in the entire market, with the stock price having risen now by well over 1,000% in just the past 5 years alone, leaving behind an extremely rich PE ratio that is over 400% higher than their peers within the sector, which brings me to point number 2, that their business just isn't really good enough for that high of a price tag. Yes, Tesla has done a good job of innovating, and really no one is denying the role that they've played in bringing lots of attention over to EVs, but as the industry transitions over from gas-powered cars over to electric ones, well, the mass market will require cheaper vehicles that they can actually afford. But as of last year, the range in price for a Tesla vehicle was between $40,000 and $133,000. Even at the low end of that, it's still out of reach for the majority of consumers in this challenging economic environment, which, as a result of this and other issues, Tesla's revenue growth has now fallen in each of the past few years, dropping from 71% growth in 2021 to only 1% expected this year. For a stock trading over 400% higher than the sector, that flat performance just ain't gonna cut it, especially in this challenging environment, which is point number 3, the macro economy that's been plagued by rising interest rates and crippling inflation that continue to weigh on consumers while also raising the risk of recession. And you can find study after study showing how Americans are struggling with this current situation. In fact, Elon Musk himself has admitted multiple times that if conditions don't improve, customers will not be able to afford their higher priced EVs, and he's therefore had to resort to numerous price cuts that are not only hurting their revenue growth but are also weakening their margins, all of which is made even worse in the face of rising competition. Point number 4, where legacy players and even new startups are spending many billions of dollars on their own EV lineups too, making the landscape even more competitive, especially from China, where 4 of the top 10 largest EV companies by global market share are now actually Chinese. And in recent statements, Elon has pointed to this growing threat of lower price EVs stemming from cheap labor in China, saying, quote, "Frankly, I think if there are no trade barriers established, they will pretty much demolish most other companies in the world." And speaking of Elon Musk, well, that's point number 5, in that the outspoken CEO is notorious for making giant promises that he can't deliver on within the timeline he usually gives, whether that's in building new factories, releasing a cheaper vehicle, a robotaxi service, fully autonomous driving, the big Tesla Semi, the speedy Roadster, or even a human-like robot. Many of those projects were supposed to be in full production, some of them years ago, but have still yet to come to full fruition. And more recently, Elon has tackled even more new ventures like the giant Twitter acquisition, with the fear being that all of it could become a distraction for the CEO at a time when Tesla requires his full undivided attention the most. Okay, now as a Tesla shareholder, that first half of the video was a little hard to sit through without giving any counter arguments. So it's time now to give the bull perspective on each one of those points. But first, I'd like to just mention today's video sponsor, BetterHelp. Guys, I've literally never had a full sponsor on this channel before, and the reason why is because I only want to partner with a service that I truly believe in and genuinely want to recommend to my audience. Well, if there's one thing I'm extremely passionate about, it is mental health issues that have sadly been on the rise, especially in recent years. And look, we all face different issues that affect us in different ways, whether it's depression or addiction or the loss of family members and friends, a difficult breakup, financial struggles, or even if we just feel a bit lost and not happy with the direction our life is heading in. Well, in all those scenarios and more, therapy can really go a long way in getting you back on track. So whatever your struggle is, it's important to take action now and get the help you need. And that's what I love about BetterHelp. They make it so easy to get connected with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice right from the comfort of your own home. They even have different filters so that you can find the right therapist that understands the exact struggles you're going through yourself. And all you have to do is go to their site. You can even use my link down in the description to get a special discount for the first month. And BetterHelp will match you to a professional who has years of experience helping people with struggles just like yours. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video, and thank you for taking the action on your mental health if you need it. Go to betterhelp.com/allisworld to get started. All right, now it's time to give you guys the bullish perspective on these 5 points. So let's go through them one by one. Okay, now when looking at the valuation side, well, I grant you, this is probably the hardest one to argue here. In fact, it's probably the only one that I might actually have to concede, since I really always felt that Tesla is a very expensive stock, but as a shareholder myself, that was never really my focus. Instead, I just felt that the business and their future potential was worth the high price tag, which, by the way, as expensive as Tesla is, that price has at least fallen quite a lot from the top, losing about half its value these past couple years, which is why their PE ratio is also close to half what its 5-year average was too. But again, it's still very high, so the real question is whether or not that's worth it for the business. Well, while the bears love to highlight the slowdown in growth, the fact is that Tesla has actually done a pretty good job of putting up any kind of growth at all during what has been some of the most challenging macroeconomic years in history, with even next year analysts still expecting a large rebound in revenue growth up to 18%, which is in large part thanks to their upcoming cheaper mass market vehicle and the eventual rollout of a robotaxi service, probably a little further down the line, both of which though could perform very well even during this challenging macroeconomic environment, which was point number 3, of course. And the most recent updates we have on that is that we have an upcoming robotaxi day in August, as well as a new compact crossover Tesla vehicle costing around $25,000 for the mass market, which should be starting production in mid-2025 with initial planned production of 10,000 units per week. Look, guys, even if the economy gets worse, a robotaxi service can actually generate additional income for Tesla owners, while Tesla themselves get to collect a fee from every ride, which could not only send rivals like Uber and Lyft out of business, but the added savings and income generation could be a huge benefit to struggling consumers during that weak economy, while also helping boost Tesla's profitability from software-like margins in autonomous driving. In fact, that's really one of the biggest reasons why large Tesla shareholders like Cathie Wood or Ron Barron still hold price targets on the stock that are many times higher than where it trades today, even with the high PE ratios. That's because of the idea that those future profits from the software-like margins are just going to be so gigantically higher that it's something that we can't really factor into today's valuation, but over time it would bring that valuation way down, and the stock price could actually be worth quite a bit more if everything goes according to plan. And of course, just kind of sticking with the economy here for a second, the cheaper mass market vehicle would also likely do just as well in that environment, given how expensive EVs have become, with most legacy rivals really nowhere close to that type of price tag that Tesla is aiming for, with also the superior performance and features that you would typically get in a Tesla. Which brings us over to the other point in competition, rising competition. Again, My biggest worry is not domestic rivals, but rather those coming from China, which I continue to feel is a huge threat to Tesla. But even there, we're now seeing huge progress being made on that front too, through the implementation of new tariffs, just like Elon asked for. In fact, recently, America nearly quadrupled their tariffs on EVs and other related goods coming from China that will likely level the playing field while also providing a huge boost to Tesla as well. Plus, Tesla continues to innovate, which is something that their legacy rivals have really always been very complacent about, whether it's expanding into logistics with the Semi, in energy with battery storage, even robotics with the Tesla bot, and of course AI with autonomous driving. Guys, these markets could be worth trillions of dollars in the future. Some already are, and it's the main reason why I still believe in Tesla's future, even for that rich stock price that it currently trades for today. And finally, for point number 5, when it comes to Elon Musk, look, I grant you that he sometimes overpromises and under-delivers on timelines, but the guy has been pushing the boundaries from day one, trying to transform some of the biggest industries out there, while, again, the competition has been largely complacent and just kind of sticking to the status quo. And look, I'm not saying that he's perfect or the best CEO that we could have, but I still prefer him over just about any rival CEO out there that I know would not have gotten us anywhere near where we are today in terms of Tesla, the business, and Tesla, the stock. So I'd much rather keep him than ever lose him. Without Elon Musk, I'd be much less confident about Tesla's future ambitions. And even with the, distractions and like the Twitter acquisition, look, guys, some of those things could actually benefit Tesla in the future too. When I think about the Twitter acquisition, I just see lots of integration there in terms of advertising, probably free advertising or very cheap advertising for Tesla. And that's something to get excited about as well too. So there could actually be synergies even with all the different things that Elon is doing outside of Tesla that, the bears think of as distractions. I think in the long run could create an ecosystem of different synergies within the different businesses that he owns. So overall, I'm still very bullish on Tesla. And look, those are just my opinions though. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel about it. And that's why I continue to stay invested in the stock. But I'd love to hear what you all have to say down below in the comment section. Are you a bear? Are you a bull? Are you somewhere in the middle? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you own the stock? Let me know down there. And what other stock would you like to see a video like this for in the future, a bear versus bull? Let me know what stocks you'd like me to do that on down there in the comment section. But thanks again for stopping by, my friends. Thank you for all your support. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're all doing well. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.